In the build-up to the 2023 general election, urban planners, or if you like, town planners, have an admonition for political actors crisscrossing the country, the landscape. The national president of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, Nathaniel Atebije, I hope I got that right, has earnestly admonished political parties and candidates with their supporters to eschew violence and seek positions in a peaceful manner. The electorate should make informed choices that would throw up credible leaders. You know, the Austro-German physicist Albert Einstein reminds us that peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. And the question, is political peace achievable in Africa, GKB?
Yeah, nothing is impossible. Though people will point to 1,000 years of our history, of conquests, of kingdoms, of empires, and that will, of course, will put what Einstein said to test. Because we've known that in this part of the world, we've had empires that lasted 300, 400 years. Even in Europe, the Ottoman Empire lasted almost 600 years. And was at a time in control of vast land all over Europe. What we need in Africa is this do-or-die mentality.
Yeah.
Our politics have not...
Win by all means.
It has not evolved to a point where we see it as service. We mouth it, of course. It's just the way we talk. But in reality, it's just another form of war. Politicians don't see politics as a gentleman's endeavor. They see it basically as war by other means.
Yeah.
So, and that's where we have to draw a line. If the spoils are not so enormous, if the spoils coming from this are not so gigantic,
people would not,
they will not
kill to get there.
Well, the only job remaining in Nigeria today, apart from banditry, of course, is politics. And so a lot of theories will be stated along the line. But we need to sanitize our politics in such a way that it will become service and not
to the
a
people.
job for the boys.
Yeah. Because, you know, when you reconcile what he has said with what the chairman of INEC said the other time, not too long ago, that the attacks, frequent attacks against INEC facilities across the country gives him sleepless nights. You know, we have a long, long way to go in our politics.
Yes, I've never been as worried as I am these days about the bad blood that politics is generating in our country. People are using fighting words against one another, and I just wonder what's going on. You go on social media that is literally bursting at the seams with frustrated Nigerians looking for where to
An outlet.
demonstrate their anger.
Yeah.
You see people, a lot of name calling. It's the insult, the abuse is just too much. And I'm not surprised that politicians are being attacked at campaign grounds these days because the level of intolerance is just too much. It's too high. In Kano, the senatorial aspirant of APC, I think, for Kano Central, was attacked. And more than 17 of his supporters were seriously injured. So you wonder what is going on. Why are we going after one another in this manner? Politics is supposed to be a beautiful game, an opportunity for the voter to express his joy at having the power to determine who becomes his president, his governor, his lawmaker, and all that. It should be a carnival-like setting on election day. But if we start attacking one another, destroying ballot materials, chasing people away from voting centers, it defeats the essence of it. It defeats the essence. We like to talk about other countries, about what other countries are getting right. But we are slow to copy from those countries that are getting it right. Even around us here, in our continent.
Yeah, but
People don't kill one another
Yeah.
the way our people are killing one another just because of election.
But
Remember, even this past week, someone was murdered in the east.
Yeah,
A candidate was murdered in the east.
But the Second Republic will remind me that politics had a peculiar character in this country. I'm wondering where we dropped the ball. In the Second Republic, it was more about, we said it the other time, the new thing K. Ombadi would say, what Bola Ige was going to say at the soapbox and so on. All that is gone.
Even the tribe of people with the gift of the gab,
Yeah.
the tribe of orators, is turning out. We don't. We see politicians campaign. You can't find something tangible that you can hold on to.
Nothing to quote.
Expressions that will live
The test
for
you
many
understand
years.
the test of time.
Yes,
Yeah.
expressions that people can recall, many years down the line. It's not
Sorry,
happening anymore.
I remember when the comes to become and so on and so on.
Accord Concordia by
yeah.
K.O. Mbadiwe. Those were politicians. And when K.O. mounts the soapbox to talk, the sheer arrogance that, look, I belong to the ruling party. The way when he begins to talk, you'll feel it.
Yeah.
You'll feel it. And for me as a little boy, watching them campaign in those days, I was like,
There was
so
fascination.
people can speak like this.
Larger than life.
Yes, you look at they looked unbelievable. Just listening to them, you go home so happy. But these days, there's nothing you can pick from the campaigns. You see manifestos being issued out, but empty on the concrete steps that will be taken to realize the Eldorado that they promised us.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to explain that this is the way you want to do it. But all that is not happening. It's like we are taking the voter for granted. And the voters themselves continue to lend themselves, the people continue to lend themselves to be used by politicians to kill one another. Politicians who keep their children abroad, buy houses and keep their children in those houses. Those children go to school abroad. You are here killing yourselves because of that. It means that something is wrong with your head. I mean, it shouldn't be happening.
We are joined by Kate. Kate is in Boko. Boko is in Benue State. Faith. Gabe, okay, welcome. Good evening to you.
Please, I would like to contribute based on
please lift up your voice.
the topic at hand. Please, something is happening in Benue that I feel that you journalists are not even trying to look at it at all. The governor is trying to make sure that nobody campaigns in another party. You will see that billboards and other places go down by, she gives talks, the opportunity to break down every other party structure in terms of billboards and everything. Otom is not even allowing anybody to hold rallies. Recently, the former governor of Benue State is supposed to have his birthday.
Okay. GKB,
so
Otom
is not allowing. People will point to the Labour Party
campaign.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was successful in the area. The problem with generalizing, even if it's the truth, is that people can easily point at examples that contradict what you are saying. I've seen Labour Party do rally in that place. So to say that the governor is not allowing anybody to do rally, I don't think that's true. Except if he's saying that, well, as for Labour Party, the governor will allow them to have their rallies.
GKB, one crazy thing about the whole picture is when something goes wrong, the INEC takes the rap, becomes the whipping boy.
They are the custodians of the system. So somebody must blame somebody. Don't forget that in the last 21 years, we've tampered or we've altered the Electoral Act about 8 times. Remember the time when the gubernatorial contest used to end at the appeal courts. Now it goes all the way to the Supreme Court. Forget the time that when you take ballot boxes, you get away with it. Now you cannot. things are changing, and INEC is doing whatever they think they can to provide a level playing field. But it was Alhaji Jakonde who said that what amazes our Nigerians is that if you do a law in the morning,
Yeah.
at 4 p.m., the Nigerian already had the potholes picked in those laws.
In that law, yeah.
So you also have to be a step ahead of politicians. But like I said, if the reward is so high, people will look for a way to circumvent the system.
Okay.
That's no way we can move around that. So what we need, what INEC need to do, is what the chairman said. Continue to enforce the law, continue to make sure that majority of our voters get to the vote.
Enforcing the law is key here.
Fundamentally.
BKB, the father of modern China, Mao Zedong, said, politics is war without blood, while politics is war without bloodshed, while war is politics with bloodshed. But in Nigeria, we seem not to know the difference.
Because our politics is basically that of survival. Our politicians have decided that the only way forward is to remain in power. And that's why you see some people be out of office for 2 years and they will take anything. It's only in Nigeria you see somebody who had gone as high as a senator willingly becoming a commissioner.
Yeah.
It's only in Nigeria you see a man who has become the secretary to the state government.
I know someone who was governor who came down to become House of Reps.
Member.
It's who we are, because you just assume that this is only
From
thing.
one of the northwestern states.
Yeah. Because you get to a point you realize that they don't know how to do anything else. Because our politics is not based on questioning what you've done with the mandate you were given. It's basically based on where you come from, what you look like, and what you sound like. And based on that reality, you want to then back to the original question you asked. The electorate have been pauperized. They've been stripped of all their willpower to fight.
Yeah.
In 79, in 99, people still have a cardinal of self-respect.
But at what point did we drop the ball?
When the middle class disappeared.
Okay.
The middle class is supposed to be the nets to take those who are coming down, as well as serve those who are going up. What we have in Nigeria today is basically the rich and the poor, or sometimes, like my friend will say, the very, very poor. So the middle class is gone. So those are the people that fight for the system, that fight against oppression. Now everybody is in one camp or the other.
Yeah.
And that's why the level of animosity is so high. Because normally those who serve as a balance are the middle class people, intellectuals, journalists. Journalists are now warlords, even in their own rights. So you never get there.
Yeah. BKO, sometimes you wonder if God didn't create the Nigerian politician in his own image for a purpose. And what is playing out is not surprising to anybody.
I don't understand your question.
Okay. The politicians in Nigeria have a character. They were created by God.
Yes.
Maybe not that way, but they have elected to live that way.
Yeah, the people, there's a devil somewhere. And the devil's main goal is to disrupt the order in our world. Unfortunately, the devil has a lot of foot soldiers in our country and in other countries of the world. So more and more people lend themselves to be used by the devil around here, especially our politicians. As far as they are concerned, it's all about them. The people don't matter. So whatever they need to do to get to power, even if it means taking people's lives, they are prepared to do it, as long as they get there.
Even in an environment where they seemingly have an advantage.
Yes, the fact that they have an advantage does not mean that they will take chances. They are not prepared to take chances. Because if you go to bed believing that it's all sewn up for you, you could wake up and discover that what you thought was sewn up for you, you'll be relieved of it. And the politician doesn't want to be relieved of what he thought rightfully belongs to him. So he will do whatever it takes, even if it means taking the life of his mother, just to get to power. And our people just need to be wise, use their heads instead of their intuition.
Yeah.
The politician is not worth you taking a life on his behalf. Nigerians need to ask the right questions. What do you want to do differently? How do you want to do it? This is the season to ask those questions. This is not the season to allow yourself to be used to take a life, to allow yourself to maim and injure fellow Nigerians. And just as the town planner suggested, INEC has to play its role of delivering a free, fair, and credible elections that will make us increasingly have faith in the entire process.
Yeah.
Everyone must play his part. The voter must play his own part of voting for the best, those who can make good things happen for us as a country. The politicians too must play their part. Even when you win the election, you must honor your word. What you promised to do for our people, you must be ready to do it. So this thing is like a relay. Everyone must play his part to ensure
And leave the rest.
Yes, ensure that we are home and dry.
All right, here's hoping that voter education will make a meaning, have a meaning this time around.